Top 5 most bizarre kidnapping stories you won't believe. Story 1.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Frank Gervasi became a real-life action hero when he stormed a boat to rescue his kidnapped 14-year-old daughter, Emmarae.
The moment I found her was probably a moment of elation and probably one of the greatest feelings I've ever experienced.
On the night of December 9th, Emmarae had been inside her home when she stepped out to meet a friend.
The rain was super heavy that day and all the cameras were fogged out.
The next time she was seen, she was spotted knocking on the door of a nearby motel before vanishing again.
She was having a relatively good day, and we believe that she went outside to maybe retrieve something out of this person's car and might have been pulled in or abducted.
Her disappearance was not taken seriously at first. Police assumed she had run away since she had previous run-ins with the law.
It literally tears you up every second of your day.
But her parents knew something was wrong. She had no coat, no shoes, and had disappeared in the freezing rain.
We were actually losing hope. It was a long time.
After 26 weeks, Frank received an anonymous call that claimed Emmarae was being held captive on a boat docked near a fish market in Iceland, 13 miles from her home.
The tip was because of all the social media and everything like that, but this person was definitely sweet enough to come forward and give me some information that did help save my daughter's life.
They warned that the men keeping her there were dangerous.
She seemed to have a lot of information on my daughter.
Frank immediately contacted the police with information. They advised him to stay put and let them handle it. But tired of waiting, he raced to the marina himself.
I did alert the PD and let them know where I was going.
Once there, he located the boat and forced his way inside, kicking down the door. There, he found Emmarae alive, but visibly shaken.
To see her alive in my arms, it was a gift from God.
Police then arrived and arrested 64-year-old Francis Buckheit, who was on the boat at the time.
You know, he was doing inappropriate things to her, to say the least.
We spent the whole day with her at the hospital yesterday, and she is in recovery right now.
Buckheit was charged along with 11 other suspects for first-degree kidnapping, child endangerment, and other offenses. They have all since pleaded not guilty.
Story 2.
I've been through a terrifying experience. I feared for my life, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour.
The controversial kidnapping of glamour model Chloe Ayling took place in July 2017. Chloe, a British model, was enticed to Milan, Italy with the promise of a photo shoot. However, upon arriving at the supposed photo shoot location, a man placed one hand around her neck while his other gloved hand covered her mouth and nose. Another man approached her from the front wearing a black mask and aiming a syringe at her arm.
So I was trying to fight back, trying to kick about, but I couldn't fight off two grown men, so they managed to tackle me to the ground, and then eventually the syringe went into me, and then that's when I lost consciousness.
Chloe woke up in the trunk of a car confined within a zip-up bag, her mouth taped and her feet handcuffed. She was drugged, abducted and held captive for 6 days.
I saw through the gap that they'd put an empty suitcase above it. On top.
That was what you thought was your coffin?
Yeah. I was hoping for a non-painful death. Oh, I know.
The kidnappers were Polish brothers named Lucas and Michael Herber. The brothers reportedly belonged to a criminal group called Black Death, an organization involved in human trafficking and the dark web.
They put you up for sale?
Yeah.
Where?
On the dark web.
During her captivity, Chloe was kept in a remote farmhouse in Italy. However, after realizing that Chloe was a mother to a baby boy, Lucas told her she had been wrongfully taken.
He made it out to me that it was a massive organization, that he wanted to save me, but he couldn't because there were so many people behind it.
Lucas then changed his tactics and asked for a ransom from Phil Green, Chloe's agent at the time. Lucas claimed he was acting on behalf of Black Death and threatened to sell Chloe if the money wasn't paid. Although the ransom wasn't paid, Lucas decided to return her to the British consulate in Milan.
That doesn't strike you odd that this sophisticated hitman is going to walk me in to the government building so I can turn myself in?
Chloe seemingly formed a connection with her captor Lucas. For example, the day before being released, she was captured on CCTV cameras walking hand in hand with him while going shoe shopping.
Lawyers for the alleged captor say the entire case could be a sham and invented as a publicity stunt.
This footage incriminated Chloe in the eyes of the public, leading to questions about the authenticity of her story.
I just had to think, what can I do to survive? And that's what I had to do, just to make him look like me.
It sounds like you were kind of in what they call Stockholm Syndrome, where my hostages begin to identify with their captors.
Some suggested that the whole ordeal might have been a publicity stunt or a hoax, while others argued she may have been willingly involved in the criminal activities of the group.
But you understand that a lot of people don't believe you?
I do understand why, but it's the way the papers are portraying it.
Would it have
and
helped
eventually
you?
it will come out, so. And to have gone through something so bad and then be doubted was terrible.
These claims were also attributed to her seemingly nonchalant demeanour after returning to her home in the UK and conducting a press conference. Her popularity, for better or for worse, skyrocketed, leading her to appear on the reality television programme Big Brother. This further fueled the narrative of the incident being a publicity stunt.
The police in Italy have charged a man, Lucas Herba, with kidnap and extortion.
Despite public opinion, in June 2018, Lucas Herba was found guilty of kidnapping Chloe Ayling and sentenced to 16 years and 9 months in prison by an Italian court. His brother Michael Herba was also arrested in connection with the case. Although Chloe's behaviour may not have aligned with public expectations of a kidnapping victim, and her publicity increased after the ordeal, she is still recognised as a victim in the eyes of the court. Chloe Ayling's story is set to be adapted into an upcoming BBC dramatisation. The drama, titled Kidnapped, will tell Chloe's personal story in full for the first time, going behind the headlines to shine a light on the emotional truth.
Story 3.
911, what is your case? I just got home from work and my wife wasn't there, which is unusual.
Sherri Papini vanished on November the 2nd, 2016 while jogging near her home in Northern California.
You had this beautiful blonde mom of 2 who all of a sudden had vanished.
However, the case took a mysterious turn when she reappeared 22 days later on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh my God, you're here, you're back, where are you?
She was found on a highway, battered and bruised, alleging abduction and torture by 2 Hispanic women.
Sherri told investigators that her kidnappers told her that she was going to be sold to someone as part of a trafficking ring.
She claimed to have been brutally beaten over the course of her captivity, leaving her face bruised, her shoulder branded, and her long blonde hair chopped off.
Got nauseated just looking at her.
Once she returned home, we went from worrying about finding a lady to now finding her abductors.
Over time, inconsistencies in her story emerged, and her spotty memory combined with discrepancies in her account deepened suspicions.
As they continue to confront her with these facts, it's becoming crystal clear to Keith that she is not telling the truth.
On the 3-year anniversary of Sherri's disappearance, DNA evidence implicated her ex-boyfriend, James Reyes.
The DNA was of a male, and it would be somewhat incongruent with the allegations that she made that she was abducted by 2 Hispanic women.
There's so much about the abduction that just doesn't add up.
He revealed that Sherri had orchestrated her disappearance, staying with him willingly for weeks.
Now, the parts that don't make sense are that you're accusing 2 females who abducted you when it was James.
He claimed to have helped Sherri because she said her husband was abusing her.
The ex-boyfriend's version of what happened is radically different.
Sherri had fabricated the entire abduction and that she had been staying with her ex during the time she was purportedly missing.
She's a compulsive liar. She would, not talk to you for 3 or 4 days, and then all of a sudden there'd be some fantastical story about what happened.
She also had harmed herself to lend credibility to her false claims.
Bruises were just intense, the bumps from, being hit and kicked and whatever else.
And just before she returned home, Sherri ate only small portions of food.
The part that you were branded, James did it.
Almost 6 years after she went missing, everything she claimed was made up. While Sherri never offered a clear motive, a psychiatrist suggested she might have sought fame, fortune, or an escape from real-life issues.
She was faking a heart condition at one point, and eventually, not only me, but a bunch of people figured out that that was not true.
Her lawyer, Mr. Portanova, said in the sentencing memo that he referenced her chameleonic personalities, which he claimed pathologically drove her to simultaneously crave family security and the freedom of youth. Sherri signed a plea deal, admitting her orchestration of the hoax. In September 2022, Sherri Papini was sentenced to 18 months in prison and fined $300,000. Her husband subsequently filed for divorce in April 2022, seeking sole custody of their 2 children.
He and their 2 children are traumatized, and they need time to recover and stabilize after finally learning the truth.
Sherri Papini's release from prison occurred in August 2023, and she was placed in a halfway house as part of her transition back into society.
Story 4.
I just remember seeing my mom running out of our house screaming, "Do you know where Leah is?"
We found her. She's alive.
In the suburbs near southwest Houston, 11-year-old Leah Henry led a typical life with her caring family. Unbeknownst to them, a string of kidnappings had plagued neighboring cities since March. As evening fell on May 1st, 2001, Leah failed to return home from school.
Something's just not right. This isn't like Leah.
Witnesses reported seeing her with a stranger earlier that day, prompting the intervention of the police and the FBI.
We looked everywhere. All of her usual hiding spots. We called all of her neighborhood friends.
Despite frantic searches and inquiries, Leah remained missing.
At that point, I knew there was an abduction. There was just no doubt in my mind at that time.
Over 250 miles away, Leah had been taken captive to a secluded cabin.
I felt like this was going to kill me.
Her captor had lured her into his car on her way home from school.
He was in normal clothes, he had glasses on, he was very friendly, nice to me.
He restrained her, rendering her defenseless.
I'm sitting there wondering what's about to happen to me.
She suffered tremendously. Her captor would taunt her with articles related to her disappearance in the newspaper, but the pictures of her family in distress only fueled her ambition to escape.
I held on to the fact that they were looking for me. If they can fight, I can fight.
On the 3rd morning of her captivity, the man tells her that they must leave immediately. About 9:30 a.m. that same morning, an unidentified citizen called the sheriff to report a suspicious vehicle.
I received a call from dispatch that somebody thought they might have seen the suspect vehicle.
When Sergeant David Belita arrived at the scene, he blocked the suspect's vehicle and got out of his patrol car to approach the man.
Y'all could have passed me on the road and I would never have known.
Suddenly, the driver exited his car with a revolver in his hand. In a panic, he left the driver's side door open, and Leah fiercely ran straight for Sergeant Belita.
My mind is going 90 miles an hour. I felt like my best course of action then was try to get out of there.
The deputy grabbed Leah, put her in the patrol car, and quickly left the scene. A single gunshot rang out behind them.
And once we went up and approached the house, we found the suspect lying outside beside the passenger side of the vehicle with one gunshot wound to the head.
The perpetrator was later identified as Gary Dale Cox.
We found her. She's alive. Within 5 minutes, we were out of the house.
Leah's return home was met with excitement, but behind her smile lay the harrowing tale of her ordeal. She blossomed into an intelligent young woman who, at just 11 years old, had confronted evil and, with the help of a kind officer, found her way home.
Story 5.
Pepperoni pizza, but instead of the pizza, you got police officers at the door.
In 2014, an ordinary man named Harry Brown from Surrey, England, found himself at the heart of a missing child's case.
I've been here a week and a half and I still haven't wrapped my head around it.
But this case unfolded through the unlikely promise of a pepperoni pizza. The story began when Gary and Kim Forrester, a couple in California, reached out to Harry in a desperate quest to find their missing granddaughter, Yvette Henley.
I get a message from this couple, this grandfather messaging me random out of the blue, saying that his granddaughter is missing.
The Forresters had noticed that Harry was Facebook friends with Yvette's father, Virgil Henley.
Loved ones say the toddler was abducted by her father, Virgil Henley.
3 weeks earlier, a court had granted the Forresters guardianship of Yvette. However, Virgil fled with his daughter before the court's decision, leaving the authorities struggling to locate them. Despite not knowing the Forresters personally, Harry agreed to help. Reconnecting with Virgil through direct messages, Harry embarked on a 2-day-long online conversation with him.
I went through tons of things. I tried sending him money through Western Union to see if I can get his location that way. Tried getting him to screenshot his weather app because that would show where his location was.
Eventually, Harry enticed Virgil to reveal his exact location with the promise of a free pizza. Little did Virgil know that this pizza offer would lead the police directly to his motel door in Arizona.
Dropped my phone because I started shaking instantly. I was like, I can't believe I actually did it.
Yvette was safely recovered and the Forresters were reunited with their granddaughter. The couple expressed their appreciation to Harry in more ways than one.
They had $2,000 in reward money, and they sent that over straight away, and they paid for my flight out here, flight back, everything.
And it was in Los Angeles where he had the chance to meet the little girl whose life he helped save.
It was crazy. It made it all feel real, you know. It all kind of felt, it's like a dream, but now it's real life.
This remarkable story serves as a reminder of the unexpected heroes that can emerge from the most unlikely of places.